It may have moved up. Whoa, 8.5 on Sunday. Good grief, 8.5. Big Silz. Hey, I'm not even going to wait for my prediction. Well, no, I got to give you what I think happens in the game on Friday. But I'm as a better today, shit. That number should get to 9 because the Eagles are so much more talented. I hope that number gets to 10. Oh, man. 10 points. Imagine if, Nicky and Robert Saleh could be playing Parcheesi by Tuesday. Hey, you know those games down in South Philly when you're playing bocce ball, bocce to do bocce? You have Robert Saleh and you have Nick Sirianni playing a game of bocce ball. How you doing? The Big Silz Ultimate #1 Year 1 bocce tournament starring Robert Saleh and Nick Sirianni. Bocce do bocce. And the head ref is going to be Big Z, the co-host of Birds 365, Zander Krause. How you doing, brother?
What's up, Big Silz? How we doing, brother?
Look at that gear, my friends.
Oh,
Look
yeah.
at that gear.
Got the first samples in of the JAKIB merch, baby. Got the hat. Got the sweatshirt with the embroidery on there. Looking forward to getting more of it for everybody. So I'm excited with the first samples, and I'll be getting more in soon. So looks pretty good, though, right, man? Looks pretty dope. I don't know. Maybe I'm biased because it's the brand. But shit, man, I love it.
Dude, you got to put a link up where people can buy that stuff, man.
Yeah, right, it's dope. It's really. I got some Big Silz shirts coming too. So we're working on a lot of fun stuff here at JAKIB, and I do. I see Victor in the chat. A bunch of people talking about Florida Big Silz. I did talk about this this morning, and I just want to tell you because I'm not sure if you know this actually. Our third most popular viewer destination here on JAKIB, and it's been that way for since we've started, is Florida. So for anybody in JAKIB Nation who is in Florida, we're praying for you. We're hoping that everybody stays safe. Obviously, it's a tough time down there with everything coming through, double hurricane. So stay safe, and you're in our prayers, both me, Big Silz, Johnny Mac, and everybody here at JAKIB. So stay safe, everybody.
Those highways, from what I'm being told, are absolutely bumper to bumper right now. Gasoline is very sparse down there. The shelves down there at the stores, at the Publixes, are almost completely empty, and they're expecting right now a surge between 10 and 15 feet there in Sarasota, which is going to be catastrophic to some of them homes, some of them businesses down there, especially on the West Coast, obviously. And it's supposed to go, nobody's going to be immune from this. It's going to come up the I-4 corridor, and it's going to go up to the north end. You know, when it's in the Gulf like that, it's warmer water in the Gulf, which is why it's energizing. And this thing could be as big as Andrew. And Andrew flattened South Florida. So make sure you take cover, man. Those things, and plus sinkholes will open up. There's going to be.
Yeah, the one guy I know who's obviously big on our show and big on our network is Bob Brown. I know he was in here earlier. I'm not sure if he's in here right now, but he's close to the thick of it. I'm not sure if he got out of there or not. I believe he's right around that Port Charlotte area in Sarasota County. I have family down in Naples, and then I have family in Orlando. So, I think they'll be okay in those two spots, but, obviously prayers for everybody, especially that Tampa region. Tough, right, Big Silz?
Yeah, no, what becomes a problem is if you've been down there and Florida, they got those retention ponds that are like on the highways. And
and it makes it a bigger problem, right?
And right, because cars slide off the road and it tips the cars over and you get trapped in your car upside down. More people drown that way in South Florida and in the middle part of the state that way. So, I mean, there's no question. This is a really, and especially coming off of the last hurricane, now you got Milton barreling in. So make sure everybody, gets to cover, get in inland. Inland's probably going to be your best bet. Like you said, Orlando in the middle in there in Pasco County, somewhere there in Lakeland, places like that. They got higher ground in there too. So there's actually mountains a little bit there in Lakeland. So you can go there. There's some hotels in that area, but I'm sure they're all taken up. But yeah, you guys are all in our prayers for sure. All right. So 8.5 points on Sunday.
Woo, baby.
Do they cover?
No. 8.5?
Yeah.
Let's win a game, okay? Let's win a ball game before we start covering on 8.5 points, Big Sills. Coming into this game, though, this Browns team, Dan, they're
No doubt.
bad, man.
No doubt.
They're so bad. Like, you look at the numbers. I mean, shoot, it's not just talking points with Deshaun Watson because you're expecting him to be elite. He's one of the worst quarterbacks in the league right now.
Absolutely.
So I don't know what's going on there. I like their coach in Stefanski. I don't know if I don't know what the issue is. I know he's not, but it doesn't really seem like their roster's that bad. But look, they're the only team in the league that hasn't had a 300-yard game.
Don't kid yourself. That defense is good.
That defense is good, no doubt. They're the first guy that actually, messed with Jaden Daniels a little bit, slowed him down a little bit. They had the interception on him last week, but I look at their roster, and I'm wondering, I'm like, why are they so bad? And it's you're right, it's Deshaun Watson who's just been putrid.
And that was Jimmy Haslam hire.
Yeah, and I had a stat. Let me pull it up for everybody. And for those looking for our man Bryce Huff, for those looking for our man Nolan Smith, for those looking for Josh Sweat, Watson has been sacked 26 times in 5 games. 26. Sills, that's 5.2 sacks a game? That's if this defense can't get home versus these, and now they have a good offensive line, but it's depleted right now.
It is.
If this defensive line can't get home versus this team, we're in big trouble because, I've been hard on Jalen on the network for the last couple of weeks, and I think it's fair. I think it's warranted. We go as far as he takes us. If this defense can't get better, it doesn't matter how good Jalen Hurts is playing. We're not going anywhere. I mean,
if they run the ball Sunday, if they run the ball Cleveland Sunday, it's going to be a nightmare Monday.
Yeah, you're right. If they lose this game, you think Nick could get canned?
Yes, I do.
Don't you think? And I said this to you pre-show, and I wonder, I don't think so, but I wonder if this has any effect, and I'd be interested to hear what everybody in the chat has to say as well. Does Robert Saleh getting fired today increase the likelihood that the Eagles could make a switch mid-season if it continues to look like it's looked? Let's just say hypothetically the Eagles lose on Sunday. I think it's a little bit easier to fire a coach midway through the year when somebody already did it. And why did they do it? Why did Jets do it, though?
You lose to the Browns. You lose to the Browns coming out of a bye. You're getting fired at 2-3.
Yeah.
Because then you get to do the ultimate. You know what you get to do? Personally, I think it's the greatest thing that ever happened to the Eagles if they were to fire Nick. You know why? Because then you put Kellen in the role that you've coveted for a coach to be your one guy. And get this, you have him making complete autonomy decisions with 2 minutes left in the game. You don't have Nick coming in with his analytics. And like people were saying, that doesn't fix the Howie. No, it doesn't. But what it does do is it gives him complete autonomy on what plays are going to be called in Hurts's ear. The quarterback respects Kellen Moore more than Nick. The quarterback listens to Doug Musmeyer and the quote. Why not do that anyway? Because if that guy costs you a game by not going for field goals or what have you, and this guy ends up having a train wreck against this team, and by the way, I agree with you, Zander. This should be a layup game.
Yeah.
This is a layup game.
Yeah. No, it is. And let me clarify because people think I'm saying hire Robert. I'm not saying Akbar says and hire him as well. I'm not saying hire him, Akbar. I'm just saying they're a trendsetter in a way, right? Where they had expectations coming into the year. They blew out a promising young coach. He's under-delivered, but he had the quarterback with the most games with him was Zach Wilson. He had Mike White. I mean, he had Joe Flacco. Come on, we can't put all this on Robert Saleh.
Wasn't the problem.
And dude, their defense is ranked like top 3 in the league right now. Like that defense. So I'm not even saying hire Robert. I'm just saying, did they just start a trend? I'm not saying it's a trend. I'm saying they made it easier though. Like if you're going to be the first team to come out and fire your coach earlier in the year, there's a big onus on you, right? I mean, I have the national shows on today. That's been the headline all day, right? Does it make it easier for Lurie to be like, well, we're not reaching our expectations. Maybe we can salvage the season by promoting Kellen. I'm not saying it's definite. I'm just, wondering if that kind of makes it easier on Jeffrey Lurie to make that move. So, but you're right, Silz. Everything you said is right, man. This team has to get right this week. Shout out to M. Reyes holding me accountable. He's like, you're not just hard on Jalen. You've lowered your win predictions. You've lowered your expectations. M. Reyes, you're right. I have, man. They got to get right this week, Sills. If they can't get right this week, dude, when are you going to get right?
Hey, how about this? Joe Douglas, it's been reported that he didn't want to sign Aaron Rodgers. That was a Woody Johnson move.
Yeah, I would believe that.
That was a Woody Johnson move.
I
And
would
on
believe
top
that.
of this, what do you make of that whole shit show today? I mean, last night, Robert Saleh walked in with his coaches. They had their coaching meetings last night, and they were putting the game plan together for this coming weekend against the Bills this week. And he walks into his office. He's sitting behind his desk. Woody Johnson walks in and says, "You're out." And that's how it was handled. And then get this. He jumped up behind his desk. He was just absolutely just ambushed on it. They called security because they got into a not a physical confrontation, but a verbal confrontation. And he was escorted out of the building by Jets security, like their version of Dom. He walked right by the general manager's office. Joe Douglas walked in and told him he was fired.
Yeah, he didn't even have a chance to address the team, I don't think.
No, he did not have a chance to address the team. They escorted him out. And get this, they're going to ship his stuff, according to Boomer Esiason. They're not even going to allow the guy to talk to the team or anything like that. Or, Aaron Rodgers is like this. I didn't have a bad relationship with Robert Saleh. That is not true. Me and him actually got along, and we were talking about the upcoming game against the Bills.
Yeah.
Are we playing well? No. So, hey, for a lot of things that the Eagles do wrong, that just shows you why the Jets haven't had a playoff team in 12 years. You know why? They do nothing right.
Yeah.
There's nothing right.
Yeah.
And by the way, I tell you, if Joe Douglas gets fired, I'd love to have him in the Eagle organization evaluating college talent, because I think he's done a nice job putting college talent in that building there, man. It's some of the best talent. Their roster's not bad, dude.
No,
their roster's not bad.
The Jets roster's not bad at all. It's good. It's good.
If they win, get this, and if they win Sunday, they're in first place in the AFC East.
Yeah, right. Their whole division's really not looked good earlier in the year. So I think it was an overreaction. I actually like Robert Saleh. I mean, I don't know. Maybe he was over his skis as a head coach, but he's certainly a phenomenal defensive mind. Obviously, was the previous coordinator for the 49ers when they went to the Super Bowl. So, I think he's a great coach. I'd love to have him as defensive coordinator in Philly. Shit, man. But, I do want to say one thing. That's been on my mind. Anthony Lear checks in. Zander, I agree. Lurie never fires coaches midseason. Well, Anthony, this is where I would urge everybody to think as an Eagles fan. Lurie's also never had a $200 million offense. And for everybody who gets upset when fans are hard on the team, I think we would be remiss to not push this team to get the most out of this roster. Because Big Sills, in 5 years, in 10 years from now, in 15 years from now, if this team doesn't achieve a Super Bowl, all of us, every last one of us in this chat will look back and say, wow, did we waste that roster?
Absolutely.
Look at that roster that we had.
This will be worse than the Andy Reid.
Way worse.
Way worse than the Andy Reid era, man.
This is the best roster we've ever had, especially offensively in the city of Philadelphia.
And the most commitment you ever made to players financially.
100%. Now that's going to go up obviously because the cap goes up. But I mean, shoot, man, this roster, if we don't get a Super Bowl out of this roster, we're all going to be talking about it for years to come. So, don't view it as being hard on the team. View it as, we're trying to get the most out of this team, man. They got to push. And I think as fans, it's our duty to also push them to get the most out of it. And I've just been thinking about that where, we think about the 04 team. We think about even, 22. We think about all the previous years that this team, gangrene, right? How do we never win one with gangrene? We're going to be saying the same thing about this team if they don't get over the edge. We're going to be saying the same exact team. You tell me we had A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, a top 5 offensive line, Saquon Barkley, a $50 million quarterback, and we didn't get there? It's going to be a gross underachievement to the city, and I think we should all be aware of that early.
Do me a favor, guys. Please hit the like button here. Zander, watching that game last night, and dude, I know walking back over things sometimes, walking back over graves and shit, but
yeah,
Andy Reid has to be the biggest regret Jeffrey Lurie has ever had in his entire ownership. I mean, dude, come on.
It's tough. Here's where I struggle with that because it obviously is, right? When you look at Andy Reid, he's arguably a top 5 coach in the history of football.
Dude, he might be the greatest at the end
but here's where I think people forget, right? And you have to, sometimes things run its course. Like Andy had 2 straight losing seasons at the end of his tenure in Philadelphia. He never got over the edge with Donovan. Like, would he have turned into the coach he is now if he didn't have that? It's easy to look back and say, well, we got rid of a top 5
benefit. Don't you have to give him the benefit on what he's doing? Kansas City, what was Kansas City before he got there?
Nothing. I mean, they were
By the way, people wanted Deshaun Watson in Kansas City or Mitchell Trubisky. They didn't want Mahomes.
Yeah. Andy and Veach traded up to get Mahomes.
Right. They were convinced to trade up and get his ass to go get him. So how do you know he wouldn't have turned? So
look, you're right, but it's also
around in Philly.
Yeah, no, you're right. It's hindsight 2020 though. And I just wonder, did his time here run its course? I'm not saying I wouldn't have loved him because I loved Andy.
14 years is a long time.
It is. And you never got over the edge, Silz. So it's like you never got over the hump of winning the bowl. So it's easy to look back and say, we let that guy go now. But like in the moment, I don't think that many people were critical of it in the moment. I was too young, obviously, when he got fired to remember it fully.
Well, how do you look at it now? That guy beat you in a Super Bowl.
I look at it as he's a top 5 coach in the league, man. It's tough to think about. Like, shit, man, we had that guy here.
But everything you almost do right now was a blueprint of the things he left behind here.
Yeah, and he's doing it. I mean, look, he's got the quarterback though, right? I mean, he got Patrick
and the D coordinator.
And would he be the coach without Patrick? I hate that argument because that's the same argument of people say, "Oh, Bill's not a good coach. He had Tom." It takes 2. I think it takes both.
It does take both.
And it's not just like it's the coach or it's the quarterback. It's not Andy or it's not Patrick. It's both. They're the perfect combination. So it's tough to say, like, what would Andy's success be here?
Yep.
Let's just say it played out the same roster-wise. What would it be here with Jalen Hurts? I don't think Jalen Hurts has anywhere near the upside that Patrick Mahomes has, and that's not a knock on Jalen. Patrick Mahomes is one of the most talented QBs ever graced the league.
Let's take everything for what it is then. Would he have had more success here than what Nick Sirianni had? If he had stayed on?
I mean, it's easy to agree, but Nick Sirianni's also been the winningest coach in Eagles history.
That's what I mean. You think he'd have won more?
Maybe. I don't know. It's so hard to go back and play revisionist history on it. Remember also, Andy had a lot of things going on in his personal life when that happened.
He did.
And part of me wonders if
both kids.
Right. If it was just right. Not only for us, but for him. And look, I'm not one of those people that looks back with disdain on Andy Reid. Obviously, I wanted us to beat him in the Super Bowl. But if Andy Reid's going up against the 49ers, if Andy Reid's going up against anybody else, I'm not afraid to say I root for Andy. I like Andy Reid. I still love him, really. I mean, so I cheer for him to win when he's not playing versus the Eagles. But I think it ran its course, Silz. I think it would be revisionist history to say what a mistake it was by the Eagles. Now, granted, I mean, he's put together now a Hall of Fame resume, obviously, so it's tough to look back on, but I don't know. I don't want to revise it too much.
How about this? M. Reyes goes like this. He says that, Belichick doesn't have a Super Bowl without Tom Brady. Well, I'll say this to you then. If you really want to go down that route, has Parcells ever won a Super Bowl without Bill Belichick being his defensive coordinator? The answer is no. Okay. I mean, so if you want to talk about a coach that has had an impact on a coaching staff, and by the way, I don't think there's any coincidence that he's coached the greatest defensive player and the greatest offensive player in the history of the sport. And he's considered the greatest defensive-minded guy, and he's got 8 Super Bowl rings, 6 as a head coach and 2 as a coordinator. You tell me how fucking bad that is.
Yeah.
I mean, this guy's been to 11 Super Bowls. Do you understand that when I say that?
Yeah.
There's not a coach in pro football that's been to 11 Super Bowls. There's only been 50 some of these things played. Tom Brady's been in 18% of the Super Bowls?
That's insane, Silz.
You want to hear it even
crazier? Is he 7-2 in Super Bowls?
3. 7-3.
Eli twice. He lost to Eli twice and Foles once. That's
He's
right.
7-3. You want to hear an even psycho staff number, and we'll move on here. Tom Brady in his 20 years in New England, every other year he went to the Super Bowl. 10 Super Bowls.
He had a little bit of a run there too, where he wasn't in it for a couple years.
Yeah,
right?
no, like there was like 2 dynasties beginning, and there was like a 8-year thing, and then another one.
Yeah, that's crazy, man. Tom Brady was unbelievable. Tom Brady, when he hung him up and he obviously beat Patrick Mahomes at the end in the Super Bowl, I'm saying, oh shit, when are we going to see a guy like this again?
Yeah, no.
If
I
Patrick
watched him
Mahomes
last
keeps this
night.
up, holy mackerel,
Hey.
he's gonna pass him. So it's unbelievable.
By the
what
way,
we're
all
seeing.
super chats will be read at
Yeah,
the
we're gonna
end.
get to
We
all
promise.
supers, man. Yeah.
Please, guys, we make sure hey, did it not look like Kansas City was just fucking with the Saints last night and
It
playing
did a
like
little bit. Yeah, I watched that game. I was watching it. That Patrick Mahomes, man, he's unbelievable quarterback. I mean, I know he's got his turnovers and everybody likes to pin. That dude makes magic happen. And he is so good from the pocket. And I don't like to compare, people to him because he's that good. But at the end of the day, he's an NFL quarterback. Like, we should be comparing some people to him.
Yeah.
I watch him, and that's where I'm like, Jalen is nowhere close. I mean, and I'm not even trying to not pick on Jalen right now. He just doesn't have pocket awareness like that guy. Jalen cannot stick in the pocket. He can't.
You think he has pocket awareness of Joe Burrow? No.
Well, I mean,
Joe Burrow's got no. To your point, if you don't want to just even sit on that tree, go like this.
Yeah, right. Joe
Look
Burrow.
at the guys that are in the game. How about Stafford and those guys who have?
No, but those guys are, they're more passers.
That's what they want him to be, though.
But the difference with Mahomes is that he's got legs. Like Mahomes, he's not the most mobile guy. He's not like Jalen, but he can move. Yep. He's not a statue like a Kirk Cousins in the pocket. He's pretty mobile, but the way he sits in that pocket, he can feel the pressure everywhere, when it's coming, where it's coming from. He steps up in that pocket and delivers the football. I mean, the amount of plays that Patrick Mahomes makes when the play doesn't go as planned, but he sits in there, waits for it to develop, navigates the pocket, and then finds a receiver. I mean, the one play to Juju Smith-Schuster last night, that play fell apart. He sat there, delivered the ball perfectly, and they have a 50-yard play. I mean, we just don't get that, with
isn't it like when you watch him back there? I mean, his head is so down the field, and yet, like you said, he's got these sensors and he's not going to run unless it's needed to create something for him. His last option is to run, but he moves around in the pocket so well. His face and his eyes are always down the field. Dude, Hurts, it's not like that, man. It's why he can't see Barkley down the field and he misses the throws like that, because he doesn't see that. This guy here, in his young process, is even greater than Montana, because Montana didn't see the whole field like this. The only guy I've really ever seen that sees the field like that, Rodgers, Brady, Manning, all those elite guys like that, man, they just have a field presence where they see the entire field and nothing gets in their way. They're so calm. I'll tell you who I'm starting to fucking see that with is that kid in Houston. I'm starting to see that with that guy in Houston.
You're so right. That kid
looks like that guy too. He's looking downfield. He sees it. He never gets pressured. I'll tell you what, that Stroud kid has surprised me.
I'll tell you who else is surprising me, Silz. Put on the tape, dude. I think you would enjoy it. Go and watch some of that extra tape on that Commanders team. That Jaden Daniels kid, Eagles fans, that's a dude we got to pay attention to.
Yeah.
That dude, he sat in that pocket and delivered that ball. I forget it was De'Ami Brown or some no-name receiver. That he sat in that pocket and delivered that ball. That kid can play. That kid is not a flash in the pan. Now, the league's going to catch up to him a little bit. He's going to have a lot to learn, no doubt about it.
But to your point, his legs are going to get him out of that a lot. His legs, he's not going to be.
Yeah, right. He still has them.
He's going to have
legs. That's my fear with Jalen. You can't just have legs. You got to be able to win from the pocket. I was talking to John about this, and he's like, I'll take Jalen over Kirk. And I'm like, well, they both have deficiencies, right? Kirk is a statue, can't move at all. Sometimes that gets in your way. Jalen struggles a little bit more from the pocket. Like, pick your deficiencies. I believe the deficiencies of Jalen are a lot bigger than a quarterback who can't slice and dice from the pocket. Right. That's the best way to win in the NFL is from the pocket. And that's my fear with Jalen. People say I'm hard on him. I get it. That's my big fear with him, though. Can he win from the pocket?
Xander, it's not
do what we need to do? No,
it's not personal, man.
I love the dude. I got a picture with him. I showed everybody the picture. I like the dude. He's a great guy.
That one stat that nasty threw up there that this guy
let me
is
pull
the
that thing
worst
back up.
quarterback in pro football.
I wish Nasty Beats knew what he did.
I like
Cilio is going to be using this staff for 3 years.
Holy
Nasty
shit!
Beats.
I screenshot it. Look at this thing, man. Dude, what do you make of that?
It's bad. I mean, and that just shows you, the regression in his decision making a little bit, where it's like, not only is the players not out there, he's not making the right reads with the football. 6.7% of plays, turnover worthy plays is a lot. That's a lot, man. So, he's obviously
for
leading the league up there.
every 10 plays you have, almost 7 of them are turnover worthy.
No. So that's 70. Every 100
That's
plays.
how I read it.
You just heard that Miami math right there, baby. We call that Miami math. But no, I mean, look, it's too much. Obviously, as he puts 33 or 35, he's not even beating starting quarterbacks. He's down past the backups at 33 or 35. So that's too many. That's arguably the biggest thing. I can talk about the pocket presence. I can talk
below
about
Andy Dalton. Come on, man.
he's not only below Andy, he might be below Bryce too.
Dude, holy shit there. Hey, James Jones, you're welcome. Big Silz had you, man.
James, is he in here? James Jones, man.
Yeah, he is.
I hope James Jones wins one of our Saquon jersey giveaways. By the way, everybody become a member if you want. But we're going to be hopefully giving away another Saquon jersey. But my rule was, Big Silz, we have a couple members that aren't Eagles fans. James Jones is obviously a Commander fan. Niners all damn day is obviously a Niner fan. If they win the jersey giveaway, I got to give away 2 because I'm going to give away them a jersey of one of their teams. So if James Jones won, I'll give him away a Daniels jersey. And then I have to give one. I have to do another drawing for an Eagles fan. So
hey, James, don't ever wear another team's gear.
No, he's. I would give him a Daniels jersey. Did you listen?
Yeah, no fucking way, man. It'd be like me wearing a Gator uniform. That ain't happening. Or like you wearing an Auburn uniform. Or a Cowboy uniform. That ain't happening.
Anya says, do a Bryce Huff giveaway. Anya, the winner will say, can I trade it in for store credit? Can I get some merch or something instead of the Bryce Huff jersey?
Anya, Bryce Huff jerseys are going for $2.22.
Yeah. They're already on clearance at the
shit, man.
At the local Goodell's or whatever they're called. Yeah.
You can pick it up for $1.58.
Or Modell's. What's it called? Modell's, the old sports
Modell's.
store? Yeah, Modell's.
Yeah, discount. They're already 30% off. Hey, the impact that AJ Lane and Devontae have Sunday will be
massive. I mean, look, you're talking. I know I'm hard on the offense, and obviously we're pushing for them to deliver, but you're getting back 3. You're arguably your 3 best players on the football team. Whether we like it or not, Jalen Hurts relies on specifically AJ Brown. Getting him back is going to be massive. I think the offense is going to look good. I mean, look, Silz, the only time this year we had all 3 of those guys out on the field, we had 34 points on the board, and I believe we had almost 450 yards of offense. Every other game is when we've been down at 15, 18, 21. Those 3 guys make our offense. And that's the reality. So getting them back this week is going to be massive.
Eagles, who have the most pressure on them coming out of the bye. Who are your top 3?
I'll say Bryce Huff. Actually, he's 3.
Got 1.
I'll put him 3. All right.
Okay.
I'll put him. Right now I got 2 in mind. Let me think of my 3rd. Let me hear yours.
Okay. I got 7 of them, but I have time to write this down.
Okay.
Here. 7, I got Kellen Moore. 6, I have Vic Fangio.
Okay. Coordinators.
5, I have Nick Sirianni.
Okay. So you got 3 coaches. You got 4 players. All right.
I got Barkley at 4. He's got a kid. Dude, he's their best player right now.
Yeah, but
he's got
why is the pressure on him? He's the one who's delivered.
Because he has to keep delivering.
Yeah, okay. That's fair. All right. I got you.
Dude.
He's been the engine right now to the offense. So
if he's not on that team, you're 0-4.
Right. Gotcha.
AJ Brown, he's being billed as the savior.
You're right.
He's the savior. Everyone's like this, including John McMullen. Hey, they're going to get their best player. Okay. You got Jim Schwartz coming around the corner there on Sunday. I want to see how that looks.
I'm curious to see what Jim throws at Jalen.
Hey, and by the way, you had them dudes last year when you were 1-7. Didn't matter then either.
That's true.
Okay.
Oh boy.
So AJ's supposed to be the savior. I got Hurts too.
Okay. Hurts can be number one for me.
Can I tell you what I want from Jalen Hurts on Sunday? 18 of 25, 155 yards, 70 yards rushing, no turnovers. You win. And
What is this, 2022 Big Silz? That's not happening.
Okay.
You think A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith are coming back and they're going to throw the ball 25 times?
This is why
I'll give away a Jalen Hurts jersey if he has he has only 25 attempts in that game.
How about this? Well, that's the only way you're going to win.
Actually, forget a Jalen Hurts jersey. I'll give away a JAKIB sweatshirt and a hat and a T-shirt.
If that fucker throws 35 times, they're losing.
Yeah, well, that's their philosophy. You know
why he's going to throw the ball over.
This is where our organization is flawed because they've signed a quarterback that doesn't have the skill set that they want, and they're turning him into what they want, which is a high-profile passing quarterback. That's what – forget Nick. Forget Kellen. Jeffrey Lurie wants a high-profile passing offense. That's what they're trying to put Jalen.
How about a winning offense?
Every game since, and we could pull it up right now. We got plenty of time there. I know you got no other guess. I could pull up the stats. Every game Jalen has played since he got that contract, I would bet he has more than 25 passing attempts. Why are you predicting? Right. Why are you predicting though that they're going to buck that trend?
No. I'm saying that's what I want to see.
I know. Well, you're right. I've agreed with you because obviously what they're doing right now is not the recipe to win in the long term.
That's right.
But, I just don't think – wait, let me give you – all right, I'll give you my players now. Let me give you my players.
I got Huff number 1.
Huff number 1. All right, I like that. 3. Right now I got Bryce Huff number 2, and I got Jalen Hurts number 1. 3 is up in the air because there's a lot of ways you could go. You could go C.J. Gardner-Johnson, who's been putrid on the back end, and he's hurting the defense. You could go the guys in the middle. You could go Jordan Davis and Jalen Carter as a double whammy. Our defense is built around those two players. It's no coincidence, right? Our defense had the best game versus Saints because who showed up? Who showed up versus Saints, Big Silz?
Carter.
Jalen Carter. And the defense looked like –
and Davis.
Looked like gangrene that day for crying out loud. Yeah. He doesn't show up and we fall off a cliff. So he could be my number 3. Nakobe Dean could be a number 3. You can't. This scheme doesn't work without competent linebacker play, right? He needs to be better, but I just don't think I don't think he's capable of it. I'm not trying to pick on the dude.
He's not.
So that's my worry with him. Slay, maybe Slay. Twiz brings up Slay. Maybe he's a guy. He's supposed to be the leader of the defense. Jesus, maybe he needs to step up. So there's a lot of dudes you could put, and I thought you put a good list together. Saquon, the pressure is on him. You're right, because if he falls off,
it's over. How about this? Who do you think that team? Do you think that the Eagles could be a playoff team in a very weak NFC if Hurts is out for an extended period of time, but Barkley continues to carry the ball and they give him the ball more? Do you think that they could get away, as long as they don't turn the ball over, with a quarterback that could hand the ball off and they play a little bit of defense and they could make the playoffs being a 10-7 football team if Hurts is out? If you lose Barkley, I think you're 7-10.
I don't know. Well, here's the projection.
Who's going to take the heat off of play action? Who? Kenny Gainwell?
We don't run play action. We don't run play action.
This is why you have turnovers.
Seriously, we do not run play action. We run the read option.
Turnovers.
I know, but this is where I wonder.
A pro-style offense.
They're running this.
You're trying to play a pro-style offense with a quarterback that's not. Dude, they know that in Baltimore that Lamar can't play a pro-style offense, so they don't pretend. Why are you? You're pretending to be a pro-style offense when the quarterback is not capable of being a pro-style guy. It doesn't make – that's why I say, okay, so what do you think the winning form – how about this, Zander? I said this, 18 of 25, 175 yards passing, and 70 yards rushing. That's my formula for the Eagles to blow out the Browns and no turnovers. What's your formula then, do you think is going to happen on Sunday?
My formulas would be the same as yours, but my reality land is breathing down on me right now. Like, yo, Zander, don't get lost in Delulu land. They're not going to do that.
What do you think? 37 attempts.
I think somewhere in that range.
They lose.
I don't think so, dude. I think this Browns team is too bad. I really do.
What makes you think you're good?
I think the Eagles can suck their way into a win this week. I really do.
Defense. Hey, listen, I get you're right on the offense. You're getting star players back. But, dude, what injection are you getting? Reggie White's not walking out of that tunnel.
Dude, this is why I put Jalen Carter there, because if he shows up, everything changes for the defense. So he's got to show up and do his job and do it at a high level, or else you're right. I mean, we might make Deshaun Silz. I'll tell you what. You know what would be the most Philadelphia thing in the world?
That guy throws for 375.
If Deshaun Watson comes out and looks like the Houston Texans version of Deshaun Watson, that would be the most Eagles thing you could ever imagine.
But they're going to let him become that. You know why? They're going to play 10 yards off the ball, 2 high safety, and they're going to play pitch and catch with Amari Cooper. And they don't play man.
I know.
You're going to hey, get this. If this, you made a great point. This is a week for Bryce Huff and Nolan Smith to break out. This is also a week for Deshaun Watson to break out. You know why? He's not going to be threatened at the wide receiver positions, because those guys are going to be playing 10 yards off the ball, and you're going to be playing 2 high safety. If Deshaun Watson can't turn it around versus that Eagle defensive secondary, he will never turn it around.
Well, you know what Deshaun Watson's game plan is going to be?
Short passes.
He's watching that Baker Mayfield tape right now, and he's oohing and ahhing at it like, oh, this is an easy game for me to get back on track, work those receivers into the game. So, look, they're going to have to Takeem, you threw me off with that comment. No Diddy on that. But no, look, this team is I don't know. I think this Browns team sucks so bad we're going to win. But
hey, did the Browns who did the Browns beat? Who did Washington lose to this year?
Washington lost to who did they lose to? I just looked it up this morning. I'm getting Silz CTE right now.
Who did they lose to?
They beat the Bengals. They have the Ravens this week. That's going to be a great game. They lost to the Bucks. They lost to the Bucks in the first game of the season.
Okay. They lost to the Bucks, team you got crushed by.
Baker Mayfield threw 4 touchdowns.
So they beat the Bucks.
Yeah. Well, we didn't beat the Bucks.
Okay. So let me get this right here. This Browns team's not good in any way except on
they're the only team in the NFL still that hasn't had a 300-yard day on offense. The
Okay.
only team. You're talking about the Panthers. You're talking about the Patriots with Jacoby Brissett. By the way, I just got the notification. They're starting Drake May this week versus the Texans. What a stupid idea. With that offensive line and the Texans front, that's a dumb idea to put that rookie in there. But anyway, I digress on that.
Okay, hey, so who has better coaching in this game on Sunday for the Browns? The Eagles or the Browns? Kevin Stefanski, Jim Schwartz versus Nick Sirianni, Vic Fangio, and Kellen Moore. Stefanski is a 2-time NFL Coach of the Year. Schwartz was the Assistant Coach of the Year last year and has a Super Bowl championship.
Yeah, with the Philadelphia Eagles. You don't have to remind me who Jim Schwartz is.
I'm just asking you. So the game planning is going to be
I'll probably give that edge to the Browns then.
Okay. The Browns have a better defense too, right?
I think Vic Fangio, man, the more I'm, the more
it's not him.
No, I know, but the more I think about this whole thing, because even if he had great players, the more I think about this whole Vic Fangio thing.
You just hate the
No, but Silz, think about it. Forget even thinking about the scheme. It doesn't work. He's never won a Super Bowl. Look at what Steve Spagnuolo does in Kansas City. He has the highest rate of press corner coverage in the league. 2 straight Super Bowls and 3 in the last 4 years or 5 years, whatever it is. This Fangio, even if we had great players for it, would it work?
I don't like it.
How many years has Fangio been in the league?
43.
He's never had a number 1 defense.
And dude, Kellen Moore's had
Kellen Moore's had 2 number 1 offenses in like 5 years.
2 number 1.
Like, the more I think about this Vic Fangio thing, I'm like, how did this guy build up so much equity in this league? Just bouncing around job to job, and everybody that hires him is like, oh, he's the greatest coordinator alive. He's never won.
8 points. You're thinking they don't cover?
8.5 is too much, Silz. Silz, come on, man.
I'm with you.
8.5 point. Guys, let's get on the board with a win before we start talking about 8.5 point covering. Maybe they will. I hope they will, but I'm not going to sit here and bet it. I'm not going to go to betus.com.pa and bet that thing.
Do you believe they fire Nick if they lose?
If they lose, Silz, I really think they might. Now I asked John that question this morning, and he said, I don't think so. But
if you're 2-3 out of a bye, and you lose to the shitty Browns that you told me are the worst team in the league, and that offense hasn't had 300 yards, and all of a sudden that guy goes for 350 and 3 touchdowns, and you turn that guy back into a 2.
All right, well, now you added more context. The way you lose also matters. If that happens, oh shit, oh man, we're gonna
they're gonna win somehow. They're not gonna win by the numbers they're doing now. But remember this about the Bucs. The Bucs had those same kind of numbers. They were down in the low 20s everywhere, and it made the Bucs look like that was the Tom Brady Bucs.
Yeah,
that's what that. Hey, dude, I'm with you. Do I think the Philadelphia Eagles are going to come out and are going to look like shit versus the Browns offensively? No, I don't. But defensively, I'm still the same problems are there that you had going into the bye.
Well, you know, one of the biggest things too here is that Myles Garrett's banged up because he's the only dude that really ever gives Lane Johnson trouble.
That's a huge factor.
That's a huge factor. So, like, this is where a game you're going to have to see. I mean, with these 2 dudes coming back, like, excuses are off, everybody on Jalen. I know you guys have been like, oh, you know, every time I criticize the guy, I get comments, oh, you're a hater and you're this, and A.J. Brown's gone, and he's going to come back after the bye and torch the league. Well, this is your moment, everybody. I mean, Myles Garrett's not – I mean, he probably will play, but he's a little bit banged up. I mean, shoot, man, this is his moment to come out. You got your best guys back on the field. No more excuses. Like, come out there and play good football and utilize the pocket, which I don't think he's going to. But, you know, this is his moment. This is the whole team's moment. So the defense can get back right this week. The offense can get back right with all their players. Nick Sirianni can, you know, do his little flower speech or whatever he wants to do. And, you know.
I want to give you this. 2 things before we start reading the Super Chats here. By the way, all Super Chats will be read. Please send them, guys. We appreciate it. Hit the like button. So as you're going to practice today, and then you're going actually tomorrow. Well, no, they showed up today because they had the bye. So they showed up today. They're going to practice tomorrow.
I don't know if they show. There's a couple guys lifting weights in the weight room. I don't know if they're fully there.
Follow me here. If you're a player in that locker room, you know what's been talked about in Philly, and you know what people are saying around the league. How much pressure do you think the team feels going into this game on Sunday that potentially their head football coach could be fired Monday? If you get and put up a performance like you did against the Bucs and you get beat by 10 points, there is no way they're not going to make Kellen Moore the interim head coach. And to some extent, that could be a better thing because you know why? Then you get a head coach, play calling guy that would have autonomy. How much pressure do you think is on that team going into that game on Sunday? You have to feel it because, hey, how about this? Do you think being 2-2 right now, the front office is disappointed that they're 2-2 instead of 3-1? Or do you think they were thinking that they would have been 4-0?
Yeah, I would. No, I don't think 4-0, but I think 2-2, and you consider the way you lost. Now, the other thing is you could zoom out and you could flip it the other way, Silz. You could say, now, if I told you at the start of the year we weren't going to have A.J. Brown for 3 games, you lost Devontae and Lane for a game, you know, you would be like, and we're 2-2 at the bye. You'd be like, all right, and those guys are going to be back after the bye. You might look at that and be like, all right, that's good. I'm fine with that, right? Let's get on that one.
Absolutely.
Especially when you're talking about a 5-15 combined record of our next 4 opponents. You know, you might be okay with that. But I it would be hard for me to believe that the front office is happy right now with how it's looked.
No, but I see your side too there. If you're looking at
that's not really my side. That's just us side.
No, but the optimistic side would be this. Hey man, you're telling me, man, we lost Lane, we lost all them guys on offense. We got a brand new coordinator. We got both sides of the ball. We got a brand new offense, and we're 2-2. And by the way, you beat a Packer team that's considered by many people still to be a pretty good team. You played some pretty good opponents. I mean, really, everybody that they've played is considered a playoff team, right?
Well,
everybody that they've played. I mean, New Orleans is still going to be in it because they're in the NFC South. They're still going to be in that race down there. By the way, am I right when I say this? Every team that they've played so far has a 500 record or better.
Well, let's see. They started.
I don't think anybody's under 500.
I mean, you're right that they played all playoff team. I mean, well, the Saints probably aren't. The Saints fell off a cliff after that.
They're over 500. They're 3-2.
They're not. They lost.
Okay. They're 2-3 now.
They lost last night.
Oh, I thought they were 3-2.
No, they lost three straight
they're
games
3-2 now.
Yeah, they lost. They're 2-3.
Okay, they're 2-3.
Let me double check because I want to be accurate.
I thought they had 3 wins. Because every team they've played,
they're 2-3.
Okay, they're 2-3.
They started off 2-0. They beat the Panthers and destroyed the Cowboys. Then they lost to the Eagles. They lost to the Falcons at the buzzer. Remember, and then they lost last night to the Chiefs. So they're 2-3. They fell off, but the Bucs and the Falcons both look like playoff teams.
Absolutely. So there's pressure on this team Sunday.
You bring up a good point because it's easy to say we're a better team and we should win, right? But then you add in the element of, boy, if we lose, this whole thing could blow up in a way.
Oh, absolutely. It would look worse than 23.
It makes the and it's a plausible reality to think you're going to, you're going to lose. It's not like a given that you're going to win. It's the NFL any given Sunday, right? So it makes that probably more real. And I think you're right. Maybe that pressure is mounting, but boy, I hope the team is not falling into that because, people always.
You don't have the leadership. The reason I bring that up is because you don't have the leadership you've had in the past. Sit there and lean on that.
I mean, Slay's our leader. Everybody always is like, Slay, I don't have a problem with them. Anytime you see a player respond to any rhetoric outside, they already lost. If they give any damns what I'm saying, what Silz is saying, what John's saying, what anybody on the radio is saying, they've already lost the game. I'm already in your head.
Yeah.
And that's already too much for me. So I hope that they're not falling into any of the external noise. I hope they're handling things within the organization, inside that locker room, and not worried about what I'm saying, what you're saying, what anybody else is saying. Now, it's a great badge of honor when they do care what we say, but they're professional athletes. Just like I shouldn't care what somebody barks at me because I get barks all damn day about JAKIB and all this and that. And I'm like, I don't care. I got to keep plugging, right? I got to handle my business, build my business, and do what I'm supposed to do every single day in and day out. Same thing with them. They're professional athletes and they got to shut out the outside noise, but I don't know if they do. I really don't. I don't know if they do. And I think that's why so many of the people
because the organization allows it in, and guys, they can't remember, Zander, that organization cares about how people see them.
Yeah, but there's more.
They care about the perception of how people look and view them.
Well, and I think that's part of the reason I think a lot of the people that cover the team don't cover them as fiercely as they used to. It used to be a common thing in the workplace to, especially as a beat reporter who's not biased to the team, to cover them, objectively and be hard on them if they needed to be. And on anybody, the owner, the GM, whoever it was. Now it's almost like, you get Marcus Hayes on and you're like, you're a one of one in today's world. Like that used to be everybody. And I think that's because everybody knows that everybody reads it all and they don't want to be, taking away their key fob from the locker room.
For me, covering something like this, I like to give great praise, but I also like to give harsh criticism. I don't believe, I think, look, when something is done right, I go over and say, that's one of the better things that organization does. And I go overboard because I want to give kudos to that. But what I don't do is I don't sit in the middle anywhere. I said either that sucks or it's good. And somebody goes, well, I want to give you more in-depth analysis. No, and more in-depth analysis on why something sucks is an explanation on why you're being an enabler on making it a softer reality for someone to accept. And that's what they've done to the community of the Eagle fans is that, hey, you know what? We really are looking at Jalen Hurts. And really, Jalen Hurts is going to be a guy who we're going to develop into being a pro-style quarterback. No, you're not, motherfucker. You're not going to develop that guy into being anything. Stick to who the fuck he is, man. That guy is a dual threat that is really an absolutely fabulous dual threat. The guy you're trying to make right now, like you're fucking Dr. Frankenstein, ain't happening. You are not turning that. Dude, once again, Baltimore knows this. He is never going to throw for 4,000 yards. He may never throw for 37 or 3,900 yards, Lamar Jackson. But you know what that fucker's going to do? He's going to win MVPs. This guy just beat Josh Allen and Joe Burrow in consecutive weeks. Do you understand? I mean, you're losing to Baker Mayfield in consecutive games when it comes to those guys playing back-to-back. I mean, Come on here. Dude, stick to what that kid does best. Dude, the Bryce Huff thing is the greatest example. I said it yesterday. How he thought they could turn him into a 3-down guy. He's never been a 3-down guy, Howie.
He's never gonna be. Even John's waving the flag on that one. Come on, Vic. Time to change it up with him, man. He's not a 3-down player. But no, you're right, man. I mean, this team it's not common anymore to do what you do. And you heard what Big Silz said there, guys. Big Silz doesn't ride the middle ever.
Hurts. That's why. Let's get to these super chats, my friend.
Let's do it. Appreciate everybody.
It's actually aggravating.
Wait, this isn't a super chat, but Anthony Lears makes a good point here. And I think it could be either this or it's the complete opposite where they'll rally.
How do you, Anthony, the locker room's fractured now.
Yeah, but they're not showing that.
Jalen hates him. Dude, when the number one player on your team doesn't have a good relationship with the head coach, that's a fracture. Okay?
Yeah.
Hey, don't you think, get this. So Bill Belichick and Tom Brady never went to lunch or anything for 20 years. But you know the one thing the quarterback did do?
Respect.
He managed Bill Belichick's ego. And he was the guy that was the subservient guy in the relationship. Belichick's ego was bigger than Brady's ego, but Brady managed it and got along with him, allowed him to do all that bullshit. I'll give you the greatest comparison. So the guy in San Antonio, Greg Popovich, do you know who the equalizer in the locker room was? It was Tim Duncan. What has happened to Greg Popovich since Tim Duncan's left? They fucking suck.
Yeah.
Because you know why, man? Hey, you leave your egos at the door. This is all about team. And Duncan would walk in the locker room and go, this is about us here. Tony Parker, Manu Ginobili, all of us. This is about us here. And then as soon as that guy left, Popovich has been a below-average coach. Same thing in New England. You have that one dynamic superstar in Tim Duncan. You had that one dynamic superstar in Tom Brady. And they managed their coaches. Jalen Hurts doesn't want to manage Nick because he doesn't respect him. It's already fractured. So
the other thing about
to your point, it's already fractured.
Yeah, the other thing I don't like about their relationship, and this has been since we were winning, I've never liked that Jalen wears the pants. If you know what I mean, like
Nick, he's the adult,
right? Like it's supposed to be Jalen should have a little bit of emotion. Coach keeps him, in game mode. Like even remember the Super Bowl, like Nick is like, oh, got his hand up, and Jalen's like, yeah, dude, put your hand down. Like, like, come on, bro. Like, what are you doing?
Like you're a kid.
I've always disliked that relationship, but that's just Nick. I mean, that's who we got. So,
hey Nick, go make me a fucking sandwich.
Yeah, seriously. Yeah. One more comment before we get to the super chats. And this is show enough.
I agree, but can we at least try Kellen's offense for the rest of the season before we say it's impossible?
Show enough. My worry with that is it going to work? Kellen's offense is pro style. That's why every fan right now is like, this is still Nick Sirianni's offense. Is it?
Because it looks it.
But why? Why?
Because he's influencing the offensive game plan.
Is that why? Do you really believe that's why?
You said it yesterday. Yeah, because you know what you said? How come every time I bring up with John or anybody about 23, I immediately get shut down? And yet my problem is I see the 23 problems. All you're doing is finding new people to execute the game plan that the front office wants by using different names. I think
you left out the biggest part.
Huh.
Is it Nick's influence, or is it because that's what Jalen needs to run? Jalen isn't going to thrive in Kellen Moore's style of offense.
He's not. He's not gonna thrive in Brian Johnson's offense. Jay Daniels is.
Well, Brian, I think honestly, the more and I don't know this to be true, this is just a speculation by me, but the more that this thing goes and the more I learn about Brian Johnson, the more I learn about this Eagles team, I think Brian Johnson actually knew how to use Jalen Hurts.
Yeah.
And they made him put him into a different style of offense, start throwing the ball more, take away some of that RPO stuff, and it fell apart. And now they brought in Kellen Moore to do the same thing, and it's not working.
Remember what the big problem was and the big rub in the offseason was that Brian Johnson, it came out that Nick was coming in and pulling Jalen out of team offensive meetings and saying to him that they were going to go and do this kind of style here, and he would influence the play calling during the game and during the play calling, and he would change plays of Brian Johnson during the game. And Brian Johnson and Jalen were frustrated because Nick's influence, and he's doing it again now. Devin White got cut.
Breaking news, everybody. Devin White has been cut by the Philadelphia Eagles. You know, I'm happy because, and not because I wanted Devin White to be gone, but because I didn't want them to hamstring him for a whole year and not give him the chance to go and try and revive his career. I know, we've talked about how he wasn't, by the way, John deserves flowers on this. Silz. John took Silz' level of hate this summer for his takes on Devin White. And everybody in JAKIB Nation came down on him. You're a Devin White hater. You're so wrong. McMuffin, you're dumb and this. John was spot on about Devin White the whole time. He had no impact on this football team, and now he's gone. He is gone, and he didn't play one snap here as John predicted. So I'm giving John some flowers on that one.
Let me read the room here, just in my observation above the NovaCare Center. They're panicking over there. I'm going to tell you why. They're looking for bullseyes right now and scapegoats right now. And for Howie in season to cut a guy that they gave $3.5 million to, who was supposed to come in and be a starter, Howie on the Zoom. The reason I came to Philly was because Howie was the guy that was recruiting me. Here's the guy. Hey, for Howie to cut bait on this, dude, it wouldn't shock me if Bradbury's next. Okay, or something.
They're already creating their scapegoats, aren't they?
Yeah. This is fucking the beginning of Hurricane Howie.
No, I'm not ready to go there. You're saying this is the start of the end?
This is a Cat 4 right now. Hurricane Howie.
Are you
is
telling
right
me this
now.
is the start of the end, Big Silz?
I'll lower it to a Cat 3. Okay, right now it's a Cat 3. Hurricane Howie. This is the first. The waters are getting warm in the Gulf right now.
No, I didn't want to go there. And Silz, leave Silz to go there.
The Chesapeake Bay waters are now starting to get a little bit warmer here.
Oh no! Is this Silz? Don't tell me this thing's unraveling right now with Devin White.
What it is it's setting up Sunday if they shit the bed.
Oh my God! If they with this, and then if they shit the bed on Sunday, oh my God!
Oh, hey, they'll like that play. Hey, NovaCare will be knocked down by Hurricane Howie, Cat 5.
Oh no.
Silz, I told you something fishy was going on. John did say that. He goes, Silz, something fishy's going on.
Hurricane
Howie
design, Abe. Oh my gosh. Hurricane Howie.
Cut him. That is so un-Howie. That was one of his prized signings.
Silz, I didn't want you to go there, and you went there, and it's hard for me to dismiss this.
This is the beginning this is the beginning of the end for Sirianni.
Sirianni's the beginning of his end started last year.
To the Browns on Sunday, they're firing his ass. And you were right about Rob. Hey, dude. Okay, so I cannot believe they cut Devin White.
Hurricane Howie.
Hurricane Howie.
Please, some Eagle fan, talk me off the ledge. Is Silz right here? Is this
Cat,
the start of the end for this
hey,
football team right now?
Cat 3 with the potential. Hopefully it gets downgraded by the end of the game
I can
Sunday.
always count on M. Reyes, Big Silz.
We get a guy we never used. Look at M.
Get
Reyes.
the fuck
No,
out.
you're right. You're right, M. Reyes. You just cut people that you fucking give money to, and you blow everyone up saying that, oh my God, this guy. I kept telling, why is this guy on the team? Why is Bradbury on the team? Cat 3 with the potential of a Cat 5 comes Sunday. Holy piss. Okay. Oh my God, this is the beginning here. Silz Sirianni, dead man walking. Why does Howie not know how to draft defense?
Oh my God.
That's because he's a glorified CPA. This team should be a dynasty. Get Howie out now. No, get Howie away from the player sandbox. Holy cow. Salah earlier. Devin White later. They're going to take, hey, dude, your boy's setting up. Who's he setting up? He's setting Nick up. That's what players in the log, you know what players were doing today? Players right now, when they get wind, here's what they'll do. Players getting wind of Devin White getting canned, you're going to go like this. Wow. Okay, because it was always fishy why he was on the team still.
Right.
You just automatically cut him now. Why? You know why? They're
I
looking
guess
for
they
fucking
tested the trade
targets.
market.
No, what they're doing right now is you ever go to a fair and you start knocking those ducks out the thing there? You got the gun, you're shooting them ducks. Bang! Devin White first. The next one, you know who's getting benched? Boom! Bryce Huff. He's getting benched. You know who's next? He's going to be, boom, the Kobe Dean. He just got in the back of the head, too.
Oh, no. Hurricane Howie is here, everybody.
Howie, baby. Right now, warming up in a Cat 3.
Oh, God.
Let's get to these super chats, dog.
Hurricane Howie is here. Wait, let me answer Victor. Victor says, in quotes, Howie Roseman is an idiot because he doesn't admit when he's wrong. Then Howie admits he's wrong, and he's an idiot for admitting he's wrong. Victor, I love you, brother, but I think you're leaving out one of the biggest components of this, and that's Howie's ego. Howie's ego is way bigger than you are giving credit to. And I understand that you like Howie. That's fine. Howie's done good work. Howie also misses, and he's so afraid to admit when he's wrong that when he does, he makes other things happen because of it. You know, and this is a perfect example of it. And hopefully there's no other things that go wrong because of
will
this.
Howie be on the sidelines come Sunday? Hurricane Howie on the sideline, man. I guarantee you, man.
We need
be
a
on
shirt.
the
I need a shirt made with Howie's name, Howie's head in the middle. Maybe that's not a good timing with all the things happening in the world, but Hurricane Howie is here. Stay safe. Florida, don't worry. You are safe from Hurricane Howie. You guys got to handle.
Yeah, we're further up the coast right now. It's right off the coast of Philadelphia right now. And so.
Well, there's no coast. Well, I guess there is a coast.
Yeah.
But
you don't live on the East Coast there? I forgot. Philadelphia, where? Where are you near? Chicago or something?
Philadelphia is inland. I mean, I guess you're on the
Lake Michigan?
Anyway, Hurricane Howie is here. Let's get to a couple.
Hurricane Howie.
We just did it, man. We just talked about it. I'm gonna make a posting of it. Wait, Silz, real quick before I get to the super chats, let me just get what's your takeaways from this? How's the team respond? How does the defense respond? Are they in a better spot? Are they opening up any roster moves from this? What's your analysis from this type of move?
Now, this could be a trade. This could be opening up for a spot that they found somebody on the practice squad.
Okay.
Somebody that's out there because to me right now, his roster spot, because he was on the 53 men, he was just inactive. So now you create a spot where maybe somebody on a practice squad somewhere else that they've identified that they want to bring in and give an opportunity to come in and help special teams, or maybe even the depth level of their linebacking core. Right now, it's a priority that the roster spots right now that you need more depth on that side of the ball. That's why it wouldn't shock me if they end up firing Bradbury also and blowing him out. The only problem with that is once it became active for day one, they're on the hook for $11.2 million. So that would be a tougher cut. They should have cut him prior to the start of the regular season. So it creates a roster opening where they can go to a place to make a trade, or they can go like, hey, dude, Carolina's not going anywhere. You know, maybe there's somebody down in Carolina. They got a linebacker. I know they shipped somebody to Seattle. I forget in the offseason. But you go to some of these teams that are not going anywhere, and you start making a move after the first quarter poll here, and what potentially you could make a trade for a low-end pick. It's a roster spot that obviously they're going to look to fill either with a practice squad guy or a trade. Now, Devin White as a player, in the last 15 years, there have only been 2 linebackers taken in the top 5 picks, and he's one of them from LSU. And now you have to sit here and look at what happened with a guy who was a shooting star. In his second year, he was second-team All-Pro. He was the captain of the Buccaneer team that won the Super Bowl with Tom Brady. He was an instrumental part of winning that Super Bowl. He was a co-captain on that team, actually. He had 6 sacks on that team. He was really good. Levante David and him, I thought were going to be the future linebackers of the Buccaneers for the next 10 years. David has been sensational. He's a superstar player. And for whatever reason, the business of the NFL, I think, got the best of this guy, because how do you have that kind of talent, 4.4 speed? You have an athleticism that's off the charts, one of the top linebacker athletically to come out of the draft at LSU in a long time. He's an Ed Ogeron guy. And for him not to be the player that they even think that he could be a contributor to the Eagles this year, in a team and in a linebacker room that has so much need, for him not to even be a factor is really horrible for his resume, that he was fired and he couldn't contribute in any way to a poor linebacking core. I think it's a total testament to this guy on how he allowed the business of the NFL to ruin his career. And I'm going to tell you one last time here, Zander. He'll look in the mirror 10, 15, 20 years from now, and he'll regret every moment of it, because believe me, I do. You'll regret every single second that you didn't live up to the expectations that you knew you had inside you, and you allowed other things to get the best of you. And that's a shame, because in my opinion, his NFL career is over. Someone will pick him up, put him on a practice squad. They'll get the taste of him, and they'll get a bad taste. For the Eagles not even to activate him, they had a horrible taste of his character. This is a character thing when you're not active. Dude, you active. They didn't even take him to Brazil. When they didn't take him to Brazil, I knew they had a problem with his attitude.
Silz, this smells like a big Howie move coming. What would you think it would be? Defensive side, big trade. Remember, this is the one thing Howie loves to do, Big Silz. When he gets in the crosshairs and everybody wants to come for Howie, you know what he does? He makes a big trade. He makes a big move. He does something to quiet the noise around him. Will Howie make a move? And if he did make a move, where do you think he'd go right now?
Look at the teams that are in trouble. Cincinnati, okay? The teams that have like really big troubles right now. Cincinnati's got some talent, but their defense can't stop anybody. I don't know what they have in their linebacking core. By the way, that Mosley kid, that CJ Mosley that the Jets have.
Yep.
I mean, you just got rid of Robert Saleh. I mean, what you could look at is, let's see how they play against the Bills. If the Bills beat them and they go 2-4, then you're going to start seeing some things get a little bit more hairy there in New York. And Joe Douglas and Howie have a relationship. Maybe that would be something to end up making a move. Now, look, you got to remember, too, you're talking about a linebacker position now, and now a roster spot that's open. What if Nakobe Dean doesn't play well? I know you want an edge rusher, but you need someone in the middle of that zone in that Vic Fangio defense to be able to control the middle.
What's a bigger need, Silz? What's a bigger need, man? We're getting nothing right now out of our $17 million. Nothing. Goose eggs. Now, Josh Sweat's been okay. He's been serviceable, which I think is what you expected. Bryce Huff, goose eggs. First-round draft pick Nolan Smith, goose eggs. If a guy like Max Crosby's out there, that to me looks like the move. I'm not saying he's available or
what happens if Zach Bond gets hurt? Who are you putting in there?
See, this is where I wonder if John's point's correct, where, Trotter, Ben Van Sumeren. See, and I'm not saying those guys are good, but you're not getting great play from
No, I'm looking for functional.
John's point was they have depth at linebacker because it's all the same dudes, right? Yeah. There's no star. So maybe if they don't think that they can improve that position, or Howie is Howie and doesn't want to spend the money on that position or the draft capital on that position, I could see him spending it on the edge rusher.
Somebody just said, stop talking about injuries. Why? It's played a major factor in the first quarter poll of your season. You've got to talk injuries.
Oh, you have to. Injuries
because it's part of it.
Yeah.
Nobody's and again, I'm not going to quantify fucking telling you about injuries because you've already went through it in the first 4 games. The bigger need is edge rusher, but where are you getting that from, Zander? You think
here's why I don't think they'll go edge rusher.
Offer up an edge rusher?
Well, you find a team. That's why I said Max Crosby. I know that they probably don't want to get rid of him.
Henderson kid in Cincinnati.
He could be gone. I mean, you're talking about teams that are selling. You got to find teams that are selling and don't have right now a break. Like, here's why I don't think
that don't like to spend money, which is Cincinnati. It's why I pick Cincinnati.
Vegas is in la la land, and they don't even have a quarterback.
But look, Max Crosby. They're not trading Max Crosby. They're going to get rid of Devontae Adams.
And the other reason I don't think they'd go edge rusher is this. That means Howie Roseman's going to admit to 2 mistakes in one day,
no doubt,
or 1 week. Not happening.
No.
If you trade for an edge rusher,
3, because it means he fucked up on Reddick, he fucked up on Huff, and he fucked up on Nolan.
True. It's true.
That's 3 misses. Watch this: 1st round pick, big money, and a trade. You got something that you're getting back in 3 years. That's a big whiff.
I just think that the edge rusher is going to make the biggest impact on this team. I don't know if we're going to go that route, but
again, if you go get Trey Hendrickson, okay, I mean, you're talking about a younger player, but he's going to demand a contract. Look, he's not going to be on that team next year, and so Duke Tobin's got to come up with a way on moving that guy. There's 2 dudes that are not going to be on that team next year. You're not going to have T. Higgins on that team, and you're not going to have Trey Hendrickson on that team. They've already got rid of Jesse Bates. Why do you think Cincinnati's in the position that they're in right now? Because they got rid of Bates. They don't want to pay anybody defensively. The defensive football team stinks right now.
They don't even want to pay Jamar Chase.
They took all that money that they gave Burrow, and now they're playing nickel and dimes everywhere else around the roster. Every single player that Cincinnati has ever franchise tagged, they've never brought back the following year. They've never brought back. So Higgins is not coming back. He's going to be a chief or a bill next year somewhere because they're going to try to get something for him. I wouldn't. I just, again, but for Howie, to me, but you got to think financially too, how he's going to do this. He's not going to make those. Then again, he just admitted that he made a mistake with White. Okay. Would he go get an edge rusher? I mean,
I think you're underestimating Howie's ability to, when things get smelly around Howie likes to punch back. Howie likes to change the narrative on him, whether that's his little man syndrome complex, whatever it might be. Howie likes to kick back when people start putting him. I've seen more articles and we've done it here on JAKIB, and I did it on Birds 365, and Dave Zangaro wrote about it on NBC Sports Philadelphia, reviewing Howie Roseman's recent signings. I've seen more than I have seen in 4 years, in 3 years.
It's funny.
Howie understands that there might be a time. If this team doesn't reach expectations, Howie's going to be in the crosshairs. I wouldn't rule it out, him making a big move right now.
How about this? I've been pointing this stuff out for 4 years on Howie.
Yes, you have.
About his lack of ability to evaluate, especially defensively, and his signings over there. Okay? He is not good at it, man. But to your point, you know what he is good at? Look at what he did here. He's rescued Slay from Detroit because they weren't using him right, and they put him in a zone defense in Philly. What else did he do? He realized that AJ was being underutilized in a Derrick Henry offense when he's only getting 63 catches a year. Dude, he found Gardner Johnson, who came in a year ago. Now, I think that injury that he had in Detroit, I don't think he's the same player. You know that injury he got last year where he missed like 14 games last year? I don't think he's the same guy, and I don't think that – get this. You know why I think he's not playing well? I think he's still recovering from that knee injury because doesn't he look slow out there?
Yeah.
He looks slow. You know, he may be better next year in that style of play like he was in 22. But I think remember, Zander, he missed 15 games. He missed 15 games last year. Did Gardner Johnson. I mean, you know, maybe it was 14. I know I think he missed 3 games last year, dude.
Gardner Johnson was a miss. He was a miss. They should have spent the extra money to go for Xavier McKinney or bust because, dude, you know, they wanted him. They were all in on Xavier.
That number up to go to $18 million to get McKinney. No way would they.
What did they do? What did they give CJ? 12? 8?
No, they gave him 8. They gave him 8.5.
Yeah. 8's pretty low. 8's less than half
The
of
other
that.
guy got 18. He got 17.5.
Yeah, and he's also got 5 interceptions in 5 games.
I got it.
Our dude leads the league in passes given up in coverage.
Look at Patrick Queen, what he's doing in Pittsburgh, too. They gave him 18.4, and Pittsburgh's got one of the top flight defenses. I do think there's something. John's right. Something's up here now, because you know what this is? Let's just hypothetically do this here now. They've created a roster spot, okay? And that they're not elevating a guy off the practice squad for that. They're going to make a move here. I
just shot John a text. I want to get his intake. I'm going to get some see what he thinks on potentially Howie making a move. Devin White released. Obviously,
now you have 52 guys on the team.
Yeah, for those. Well, I don't know. Was he taking up a roster spot?
He was 53. He just was inactive. Remember, what is it? 50 or active, or 42 or 52 or active? I forget what it is. But dude, he was on the active roster. Yeah, because he was a weekly inactive. So I mean, he was on the active roster. I mean, that's a roster spot.
See, Crowley brings up a good point. It could also just be for that.
Crowley, you got one less depth guy now at linebacker. Do you really need another safety?
We don't have too much depth at safety.
You just got through saying no. Where's he going to play? Where's Brown going to play?
John says Sydney.
It's for Sydney. Okay, so now get this. Now you're lighter at linebacker. Okay, so here's your depth at linebacker now.
You had less safety depth than you did linebacker. This makes sense from that perspective.
So now they're elevating Trotter. They must feel better about Trotter.
Well, I feel better about Trotter. Look at what our linebackers have been this year. They haven't been world beaters.
Let's look at it.
You don't feel confident that Trotter can come in and be a mediocre player? I think he can be.
Let's do this on a positive note. Vic must see something in practice that said, let's cut him and let's elevate Trotter.
Well, I think that was decided weeks ago. I don't think that was decided today.
Why today then?
Because they probably tested the market to see if they could trade him.
Because of Sydney.
Well, right. Sydney obviously is the final nail in the coffin for now. I need the spot back. But they probably tried to trade him. Nobody bit, and then nobody wanted him. Nobody wanted him in the offseason. That's why
they tried to trade him before the final cutdown.
Yeah, so that's probably what this is going to be here. So
it is. It's the roster spot for Brown. So they elevated that. But now again, you're still. So how many linebackers do you have on your first 2 units? You got Zach Bond, and you have.
You still got plenty, dude. You got Nakobe. You got Jeremiah Trotter. You got Oren Burks, who started for the Niners last year when what's his name went down in the Super Bowl. He was their 3rd string linebacker. And then you have Ben Van Sumeren, who's that athletic type of player that makes up for Devin White. I think the linebacker depth is fine.
How about this, Zander? What kind of look is this for Howie that the White move didn't work?
It's tough to kill.
Did any impact at all? Because he hadn't been playing, but this was a kind of notable. He was a 5th pick in the draft at one time.
Well, I think the expectations on him were higher than on the outside than they were on the inside. I mean, they gave him $3.5 million, right? And they didn't give him, $18 million. So I don't think they were expecting him to be a huge impact, but maybe inside the locker room, they didn't care much. I don't think he was ever a fit for Vic Fangio's scheme. So I never liked the signing in the first place. I kind of thought it was one of those big names traps, but I don't know. Maybe they don't care. Maybe they're just like, goodbye. You weren't ever going to get the start here anyway. I think that was decided in week 1, right? When they decided to not fly him and give him some sort of ankle tweak. And then they asked him about it the next day. And he's like, oh, I think it was my right
ankle. We all now know that he didn't tweak his ankle.
He didn't even know what ankle it was. Silz, he didn't have an ankle tweak or whatever they said it was. So they made that decision a couple weeks ago. Maybe they tried to trade him. Now they need the spot back with Sydney, and they're going to use it for that reason.
I like the fact they're going younger.
Yeah, but everybody's.
I like that they're going to start playing their younger guys.
I think people are drinking the Sidney Brown Kool-Aid a little bit early. Everybody's like, oh, he's going to come back and be a starter. I'm like, one, where? And 2, what did he show you that he was that good? I know he's a young, promising.
I'm so happy that you're saying that, because I'm trying to tell people, prior to him getting injured, my take on him and my evaluation on Sidney Brown, he wasn't a very good tackler. He was a great hitter. He was a guy that over pursued. He was a guy, remember I used to say, smoke a joint, kid. Let the game slow down a little bit. Get a little bit more reps. He's a very aggressive kid. And anybody who thought that he was a great tackler, you must have missed some of the shit that I watched, because he's got a long way to go. Now,
I think Kiko is right. I mean, he was raw.
I think he can be elite. I think he's got a chance, because remember, Lovey evaluated him, recruited him to go to Illinois. Okay, and Witherspoon was part of that secondary at Illinois. I think the kid has a chance to be good. Okay, but pump the brakes. 18 months off on a knee injury for a guy who didn't really show me that he was all that great. He missed tackles. He overran them. I mean, it was
he sucked in coverage too. So if you're replacing CJ Gardner-Johnson, is he even an improvement in coverage?
No, he was terrible in coverage. He got spun around. But again, he's a young player. Like, let's do this. I mean, Cooper DeJean's not ready. I mean, he's still not ready. Missed all that time at camp. You're talking about a guy who was decent a year ago. Not great. Now, is he an athlete? Yes. Do you see some great promise? Yes. Do I like him? Yes. Do I think he could be a guy back there that could be a really good, solid ball player? Yes. You know who he reminds me of? He reminds me of Damar Hamlin before Damar Hamlin got hurt. He's that kind of player. He's in that room like Damar Hamlin. I wouldn't sit there and go like this, that guy's Cam Chancellor. I mean, you're out of your minds. Cam Chancellor blew people up and knew what he was doing. Okay? This is pump the brakes on him.
Cam Chancellor.
Cam Chancellor was a great.
Where the hell did you get that name? He's nowhere near Cam Chancellor. Cam Chancellor
was a fourth rounder. My point is that
he was a good player.
Hey, Dan Quinn and Gus Bradley developed him in that defense, and they gave him time to develop. That's what I'm saying. Hey, dude, nobody thought Cam Chancellor coming out of college was going to be a star player. He was a fourth rounder. But what they did was they put him in a system and they developed him. Hey, what is your expectations? You don't think this guy's – I hear people going, hey, why don't you just drop him into safety now? I'm like, are you fucking crazy? I mean, you're not trying to, like, wake up Rip Van Watson here, are you? I'm not trying to wake up the guy to try to become the Houston Texans, Deshaun Watson again. I want to have the most qualified people. By the way, I might even put Isaiah Rodgers out there at the corner position, and I might even drop Quinyon in the slot to help my secondary a little bit. They need more help in that secondary. Zander, they're not very good back there right now. I think they're okay.
No, you're right. They're not. And you know, Reed Blankenship has been better than CJ Gardner-Johnson. CJ Gardner-Johnson was always the hype signing and that everybody got all jacked up about, but he's not good. He's never was good. That's why nobody in the league wanted to give him a multi-year contract. Howie Bitt gave him a 3-year contract when he got outbid for Xavier McKinney, and it's not going to work out. CJ Gardner-Johnson is a liability. He's all bark and he's no bite, and he's overrated, frankly. He's way overrated. This city way overrates him. I mean, I know he had a decent year with us in 22, but, you know, right now that looks like a one-off.
Yeah. So does Hurts. But then again, hey, let's did we read the super chats?
No, we're gonna get there.
All right,
I just wanted to hit the Devin White stuff because we got everybody checking in obviously right now on the show. So appreciate all the viewership right now. Hit that like button. Big shout out to my man Brett Jordan for becoming a member. Brett, thank you, brother.
Brett, thank you, my friend.
All members. It's big support for our channel, so we thank you very much for that. Daniel, hope you're staying safe down there in Florida. I know you were checking in, or I don't know if you were in Florida. He might have been North Carolina. Anyway, Daniel,
coming up to his way too, by the way. So
it doesn't matter if we develop any of these linebackers or safety anyways, because Howie won't pay them. It's a good point.
Right. Hey, always remember, if you're a linebacker in Philadelphia, you're getting a 1-year or you're getting a one-time contract. You're not getting re-signed. You're just not. Let's go to the next one. Us Washington fans are here for the Eagles crash out tour. How you doing?
Come on, Door.
Hey, Hurricane Howie, Cat 3.
Yeah.
How you doing?
They just released White. We got that. Thank you, In Flight. Ramir, appreciate it, brother. Thank you for the 99 center. John says, Silz, I told you something fishy was going on, John. You're right, man, and it looks like it. Yes, but it also could just be simple roster moves here right now. Dor Garner checks in again. Eagles lose, then the locker room implodes. Dor, you're living in dreamland, man. You're Washington's 4-1, and you're hoping that we collapse. Might not be wrong, though. We'll see. Derek Willis checks in. How can Jalen Carter show up when the DBs are 8 yards off the ball? It's a great point. I mean, we're looking for pressure. We're looking for sacks. We're looking for production from the front. Meanwhile, our cornerbacks are in Asia, are in Jupiter. They're not even on the same planet as these dudes.
Hey, that's fucking funny, man. Hey, Jalen Carter, show up. We're your DBs. Hey, they're in New Jersey. How come? Yeah, Troy Aikman's like, dude, these guys are playing so far back, they're off the screen.
It's crazy. The TV guys are like, shit, we got the Eagles this week. We got to get the extra big camera
wide angle.
Yeah, get the wide angle lens.
Hurts contract backloaded. If
Right.
so, hard to get off of. Hey,
or it's way backloaded. Way backloaded.
And he's got no trade.
Oh God, look at this next super chat. Usto, come on, Usto.
Hurts for Brady. Do we win a Super Bowl? Absolutely. I'd take Tom Brady right now at 50.
Seriously.
Hey, dude, would you take Brady right now over Hurts?
All right, come on. Next question.
No, wait, he's been out of ball 2 years.
I don't care how long he's been out of ball, dude. That dude would come back and dissect these modern.
I'll take Nick Foles right now.
Yeah. Seriously.
Would Mahomes be the same guy in Philly? No, Andy.
No.
Good question.
No, not without Andy. I think Andy was instrumental in developing. Remember, Silz, in the face of modern culture, in the face of the modern NFL, when every quarterback drafted is rushed onto the football field, Andy Reid traded up for Patrick Mahomes, and then he sat him on the bench for a year and said, sit right there, young man.
Did he sit McNabb? Did he sit McNabb? I thought McNabb came in.
McNabb was what, like the third?
I thought McNabb came in. I thought McNabb came in mid-season. I thought he came in.
I think he was the third overall pick, McNabb, right?
I think he came in mid-season. I think they sat his ass.
Overall pick. Let me look, because he got drafted in 99.
I thought they sat him.
Let me look.
And like after the first 7,
I'm sure somebody in the chat can give us it.
7
McNabb late in season. He sat and Peterson played. That's right. Doug Peterson. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I just think to answer the super chat about would Mahomes be the same without Andy. I mean, I'm not taking away any talent from Mahomes. He's obviously has immense talent, but I do think
Kingsbury didn't win with him at Texas Tech. I mean,
that's different though. I'm not going to compare the college game to this. I mean, Andy Reid has developed him beautifully though. I'll give him credit for that. Now, I'm not, like I said, I'm not taking anything away from Patrick, but I just think that was a big move, from Andy to sit him down that year. Let's get through a couple more of these super chats. M. Reyes, where will you hide when we go 14-3? M. Reyes checking in.
This guy's the most delusional guy I've ever seen right here.
I love M. Reyes. M. Reyes, I love you, pal. Appreciate your support.
You're a punk.
Money on the Browns team going to lay down to fire Nick. G. Fish is looking for a
G. Fish. Take the 8.5, G. Fish. They ain't covering. They ain't covering that.
Let's go to Kimberly. Kimberly, appreciate you checking in. Salah's firing is the catalyst for Sirianni gone. They know Howie is now exposed. Kimberly, I'm not sure if you were listening about 30, 40, 50 minutes ago when I said that this could be the first domino to fall. It makes it a little bit easier to move on from your coach when somebody else does it. Kimberly's got a point there. Silz, your reaction.
Hey, Kim. So when your girlfriend gets a divorce and you got your boy, doesn't it make it easier for you to go, you know what? You're not looking that good either, too. You know what I'm saying? Kim, it becomes a snowball effect. Your girlfriend dumps, dude. You're like this. Hey, Larry, I'm moving on too, man. Turn your keys in. Bring your playbook. Come on, Kim. All you chicks run together.
Kim, you got Silz on that. He's going to be on that. He's going to be using those analogies for years. Appreciate everybody in the chat. I think that's all.
Sirianni's a bad husband. No, not in life, not in real life, because I love his kids, actually. Hey, by the way, I should have known when I watched his kid mimicking him there at the press conference that one time when she was doing all that shit. She knew he was full of shit. I'm out on losers and bums. Yeah. Right here. Any more super chats?
No more super chats. Appreciate everybody though,
Yeah,
man.
you
Great
guys
stuff.
are good, man. So Devin White, it's to create a spot for Sidney Brown. Hurricane Howie is ready to roll, baby.
Hurricane Howie.
Hey, he's heating up in the Gulf right now. He's gonna be coming up the East Coast. And let me tell you something. If that fucking team loses to the Browns on Sunday, it'll be a cat 10.
It will break the hurricane scale. Wait, everybody, I need a chat check in on this. If the Eagles lose to the Browns, what do you want to see happen? Victor, I need to hear from you.
Hey,
Paul,
could that cause Howie to lose his job?
No.
Dude, you lose to the Browns and all the money you spent?
Dude,
you guys told me there's no excuses now.
Howie isn't going anywhere.
Dude.
This team could lose out.
You spend all that money and you fucking shit the bed?
Silz, this team could lose out. I don't think Howie would get fired.
That's not winning football.
Talk to the owner.
We're not at liberty to talk to him because nobody can talk to His Highness. Nobody can get up to the top of the NovaCare Center there because we're not allowed.
If we lose, though, it sells. If we lose, let's just play hypothetical real quick. If we lose to the Browns, who are the only offense in the NFL to not have a 300-yard game yet, they're 1-4. They barely squeaked by. Who'd they barely squeak by? Wasn't the Panthers, was it?
It could have been.
No, it wasn't. Let me check.
I think they beat somebody in week 2. Was it the Texans?
No. It was the Doug Peterson Jaguars.
Oh, it was the
And they won 18-13. Oh, what a barn burner that game was.
Holy cow. Winning the Super Bowl made the front office Jerry Jones 2.0. Yeah, because they think they know what they're doing. They don't.
Here's Victor. I asked him to check in, and this is what he has to say.
Howie will inherit this team. Something like he's Jeffrey Lurie's lost little guy or something, and it'll be better. Trust me. Hey, wait a minute, Victor. Julian Lurie's going to run this team. He's the next GM. The next GM of your team is the kid's son. That's who's going to.
Let me go through some of the responses since I said if we lose this football game. Finally, dump Sirianni. Bench Hurts.
Ooh.
Fire Nick. Howie and Nick getting the boot. There's a Howie. Eduardo checking in. Eduardo, good to see you, brother. Thanks for being here. And Reyes, where's your Howie? The Browns suck. No way the Eagles lose.
KC. Keep that
Niners all damn day checking in. Start McKee. The McKee boats are going to be getting their steam, Big Silz, if they lose this one. Put Howie back in the broom closet. Will that happen, Big Silz?
No, I want him to to just construct contracts and to do this. Yes, the bottom line is in the CPA is our accounts receivable, and make sure you have the accounts receivable checks all sent to my office, please, because that's the job he should have.
Well, I will say this.
Head of accounts receivable.
I will say this. Howie does do a damn good job of contracts. Best in the league. So, that does matter. And that's the reason that we have the offense we have. But I said in the beginning of this segment, everybody, and I'm going to double down on it and say it again.
Best in the business. As
fans of this team, we should be pushing this team because in 5 years from now, in 10 years from now, in 15 years from now, hell, if you're 26 years old like I am, in 50 years from now, if this team doesn't win a Super Bowl, we're going to look back at that team and say, how the hell did we let that one go? This is the best offensive roster we've ever had in the city of Philadelphia. The best.
Let me go back.
We got to capitalize on it.
Let me tell you, folks, remember what I told you. If they don't deliver, like Zander just said, they don't deliver, this will be the biggest disaster era in the history of the Eagles. It'll be. Because you know why? You spent the money, you got the players, and you have two fundamental problems right now. Get this. Here's the two fundamental problems that you have in Philly. You don't have the right coach and quarterback. How come all that dynamic? You just got through telling me Brady, Belichick, Mahomes, Reed, Manning, Dungy, Cowher, and Roethlisberger, Eli, and Coughlin. How come all of those guys had that right? Because if you don't get that right, you have everything else right on the Eagle team right now except that dynamic. You don't have the right coach and you don't have the right quarterback. The combination doesn't fit. I mean, this is why what makes Baltimore a little bit more frustrating, because I think you have the coach and I think you have the quarterback, but you have Mahomes in the way. I mean, you're in the era of Mahomes. Okay? Dude, Jim Harbaugh's won a Super Bowl. Lamar Jackson's won 2 MVPs. That's how great that kid is and that coach is in Kansas City. But right now, to me, look at what you get. Hey, Zander, Matthew Stafford, Sean McVay, quarterback and the coach is right. Okay, Kyle Shanahan, Purdy, coach, quarterback are right.
Silz, let me ask you a question, because we're tough on Jalen on this show, and I understand why. Like I just said, I want to get the most out of this. Is the best offense we'll ever have. I mean, maybe not ever, but the best offense we've ever had.
Oh yeah,
in 50
it is.
plus years.
Hey,
if Jalen Hurts had a coach, let's just say
Kyle,
let's say Bill, let's say any of the great coaches in the league, what do you think Jalen Hurts' ceiling would be?
He wouldn't be the starting quarterback. Like Nick Saban, he would have benched him.
I tried
the greatest coach.
I tried to get Silz to say one night.
The greatest coach he ever had benched him.
Did you guys read my mind? I was trying to get Silz to give me something on the quarterback.
He wouldn't be the quarterback.
Goes, benched. Right. Kev, he's right there with you. Benched.
Wait a minute. Your guy benched him.
I know. You're telling me. The bar went nuts when
the greatest coach he ever had was Saban.
I tried, DRC. I did, brother. I really tried.
Wait a minute. Am I wrong? He benched him.
No, you're not wrong.
He benched him. Okay? I mean, I can't go back on what I... Hey, Silz, so if you're telling me if I got Bill Walsh for him, no, Bill Walsh would bench him. All those... Bill Belichick would bench him. No, not one of those coaches are going to coach him. Nobody's going to... That's why you get first-year guys to coach him. Those great... You think Kyle Shanahan is going to coach Jalen Hurts? Fuck no. He's going to coach a guy like Garoppolo.
He's going to draft a guy in the 6th round and make him a good passer.
Get this. You think Sean McVay.
Why does Silz stress me out about this football team? This is supposed to be a sports show.
Wait a minute. You think Sean McVay is going to coach Jalen Hurts?
I mean, I'd like to think he would, yeah.
Really? Because he got rid of Jared Goff.
Yeah, he's arguably one of the most accurate quarterbacks.
Get this. Jared Goff won 60% of his games in L.A., and he fired him. So when you go like this, any one of these great coaches or he wouldn't. He'd bench him. Yeah. Nobody keeps a quarterback with 27 turnovers in 22 games. Nobody. Hey, dude, really, Sean McVay's going to keep going with that and go, hey, yeah, let me injure my job. Those great coaches don't stay that long with that. They move off of that shit. You know why? Because they have autonomy. Hey, let me ask you this. You think Sean McVay would coach him? No, I mean, you think Sean Payton would coach him?
I think Sean Payton would.
Really?
I do. He's coaching Bo Nix.
Wait, because of Taysom Hill? He did sign him to that nice deal.
What, dude? He's working with Bo Nix right now.
And? I mean, who says Hurts is better than Bo Nix?
I do. I say Jalen Hurts is better than Bo Nix. I watched that dude stink on ice at Auburn.
Okay. Well, hey, right now he's not better than Jaden Daniels.
No, Jaden Daniels is the best quarterback. So, wait, you're going to love this. I put up a poll on the JAKIB channel, which is a 95% Eagles audience. Maybe more. We have a couple great people, obviously, that aren't Eagles fans. Niners all damn day. I see you, brother. Appreciate you. Let me go check the numbers. Let me go check the numbers for you guys.
Knicks
I
beat
put up a
Baker.
I put up a poll today, though, Big Sills. And my poll was, who's the best quarterback in the NFC East? And I put the 4 options with a nice, pretty picture of each of them.
Daniels and Dak.
61%. 1.5K votes. 61% vote for Jaden Daniels. 26% for Jalen Hurts, 12% for Dak, and 1% for Danny Dimes.
And by the way, Danny Dimes went up and beat Geno up in Seattle this past weekend and played pretty well.
You're not going to try and sell me on Danny
No.
Dimes, are you?
All I know is that Tyrod Hurts last year beat the Eagles. The Giants ended up beating him, and then Hurts had to call up Wink Martindale. How come you knew everything I was doing? He had to call a college coach up in Michigan.
I almost just pulled the Silz and went, because you stink, but I didn't do it. I held back, Eagles fans.
All right, guys, do me a favor. Hit that like button. Xander, thank you so much, man. I appreciate your time today, man. That was really awesome.
Supposed to be a fun show for me, man.
It is.
You know what I'm leaving with? I'm leaving with
Hurricane Howie.
Hurricane Howie.
Cat 3.
And Jalen Hurts wouldn't be coached by any of the great coaches in the league.
Yeah, dude, did you see? He thought he was gonna fucking get me over here by going, Silz, just pick a coach.
Look at A-Track. A-Track, why do you always say stuff that makes you sound insane?
First off,
Kyle Shanahan's the best play calling coach in the league, dude.
And John Lynch,
he's a quarterback whisperer.
And John Lynch has built one of the best player rosters in the NFL versus your guy who's built dick. Hey, that's why you're dick trained. Dog, seriously.
Brandon's back. My boy Brandon. Brandon, you're back. Good to see you, brother. Welcome back. I'm happy that you didn't get booted out of the Thunderdome, Big Silz. Remember last week, me and Brandon, I went back and forth with Brandon.
Oh, is that the guy you called the son of a bitch? Is that the guy?
Yeah, somebody put a super chat on Birds 365 this morning. They were looking for a shirt. F you, Brandon. I'm like, I'm not printing that shirt. I can't do my boy Brandon wrong like that.
Hey, what coach in history would Coach Hurts, you think, Silz? No one. They'd bench him. Hey, I want a new T-shirt from JAKIB. It says Bench Hurts.
Oh, God. I'm not doing that. I can't start that campaign. I got to put Big Sills' head on there.
Oh, my God. The people in Philly, if they lose Sunday, selling a shirt called Bench Hurts, I guarantee you that thing would sell out like convicts versus the Catholics.
Me and you are a recreation of convicts versus Catholics. You're the Miami convict, and I'm the Catholic. There you go.
And we're both Catholic, which is fucking crazy. Hey, John, you were right, John. I appreciate it. 3 safeties, 2 deep, and 1 for run support with 4 D linemen and 2 quarterbacks or 2 cornerbacks, 2 linebackers. Use Sidney as run support to help the secondary in open space tackling. He's not that great in open space. The only way this defense succeeds, John, you can't succeed when you have your guys in New Jersey playing defense. Okay? Even Deshaun Watson, he's going to, you know why Deshaun Watson's going to play well on Sunday? All of his honeys are going to be in the stands. And he's going to throw for 375. Okay? Shit. And you're going to wish he was indicted. Hey,
James, you just hit it, brother. Appreciate it, man.
Yeah, Devin White released by the Eagles. Howie season.
It's Hurricane Howie, James. That's what's coming, brother.
Howie.
I was supposed to leave here in a good mood today. I came in all confident, wearing my nice new JAKIB merch that I'm getting for the people soon. I want to show real quick. I want to plug the T-shirt as well. The T-shirt looks pretty good too.
Hey man, you got to get that website up so people can buy
see on the arm. I got the emblem with the Philly. So that looks pretty dope.
Good. Look at the colors too, man. Smart with the eagle colors and all. That's great.
JAKIB looking dope. So merch is going to be coming soon, everybody. Can't wait to get you guys it.
That hat looks sensational.
Yeah, man. I'm going to get you a hat for sure.
Yeah, I like all that stuff, man. That looks really great. Guys, do me a favor. Please hit the like button. Hurricane Howie. Make sure you tell John McMullen that one too. Cat 3. It's coming.
Hurricane Howie.
Hey, now, by the way, You think they're winning by 10 Sunday?
I said no. I said 8.5 is too big of a spread. Let's just get back on track, Eagles fans.
Why are you getting so upset?
Because you're pinning it. All I want to do, Silz, is win the fucking game. Win the game. Win the game. Eagles, just win the game. They're putrid. They stink. The Browns stink. If they lose this game, oh man.
Whoa.
Oh man.
I'm taking
Please
the points.
don't lose the game.
I'm taking the points. Guys, don't forget, hit the like button. Zander.
Check it out. There's the arm logo on the sweatshirt. The
oh yeah, that's great, dude.
Philly on the sweatshirt too, man. Had to do a little bit more. So this is just the classic line, by the way, with our logo. I got a bunch more designs. I got a Dallas Toilets design. I got a Stout U. We got Jacob Nation bleeds green. We got some great designs coming. So I'm really excited about the merch.
We'll catch you on Birds 365 tomorrow. Zander, thank you for all your time today, man. Really was awesome, man. I appreciate it. We'll catch you in the morning, Zander.
See you, everybody. Appreciate everybody in the chat. Love all you guys, man. The best fans in the world, Jacob Nation. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. Great stuff there, too. Don't forget, folks, do me a favor. Make sure you check out our friends, as Zander said, at BetUS. If you're looking for a betting house, this is our place and our relationship that we have, and we have partnered up with our friends at BetUS. And right now, the YouTube 150, where you get a signing bonus up to $2K, and your first and second bonuses will be 125% sign-up bonuses. Go to betus.com.pa. That's betus.com.pa. It's the fastest payouts in the business. 24/7 personalized service, 365 days of the year. Live wagering on all major games. betus.com.pa. betus.com.pa. And do me a favor, tell them Big Silz sent you.
If you missed any of today's show on the JAKIB Media channel, listen to the podcast on your way home. Available on YouTube, Apple, and Spotify.